Assalamu Alaikum, dear brothers and sisters. Today, let's dive into a topic that resonates with many of us: the struggle to stay motivated in our daily lives. Whether it's dedicating time to study, exercising, or working on personal projects, we often find it challenging to stay on track. Yet, we seem to have no problem spending hours on our phones, playing video games, or browsing social media. But why is it so difficult to allocate even a fraction of that time to more productive pursuits? To understand this conundrum, we need to delve into the workings of a neurotransmitter in our brains called dopamine. Dopamine is often referred to as the pleasure molecule, but its primary role is more about creating desire and motivation. When we anticipate a reward, our brain releases dopamine, which motivates us to seek out that reward. This is crucial for our survival, as it drives us to perform necessary tasks like eating and drinking. However, in today's world, it can lead to an over-reliance on activities that provide immediate gratification. Consider some scientific experiments that illustrate this point. Researchers conducted studies on rats, implanting electrodes in their brains. When the rats pulled a lever, their brain's reward system was stimulated, causing them to crave the lever-pulling action so much that they ignored basic needs like eating and sleeping. Conversely, when dopamine was blocked, the rats became lethargic, losing all motivation even to drink water. These experiments, though extreme, mirror human behavior. Our brains prioritize activities based on expected dopamine rewards. High dopamine activities like social media or video games become addictive because they provide immediate gratification. On the other hand, low dopamine activities like studying feel less rewarding in comparison. The Islamic perspective on balance and moderation. In Islam, we are encouraged to seek balance in all aspects of our lives, including our pursuits of worldly and spiritual goals. Our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, emphasized moderation and regularity in good deeds. He said, "Take up good deeds only as much as you are able, for the best deeds are those done regularly, even if they are few." Sahih Bukhari. This teaching aligns with the idea that we should not overwhelm ourselves, but instead find a sustainable balance. The impact of digital overload on our brains. In today's digital age, we often flood our brains with high amounts of dopamine through constant stimulation from screens and devices. This constant high dopamine exposure leads to a tolerance where our brains need more dopamine to feel the same level of pleasure, making low dopamine activities less appealing. Let's explore how this happens. When we engage in high dopamine activities, our brain adjusts by down-regulating dopamine receptors. This means that over time, we need more of the stimulating activity to achieve the same dopamine hit. It's similar to how someone who drinks alcohol regularly needs more to feel its effects. This process creates a cycle where we seek out high dopamine activities more frequently, making productive, low dopamine activities like studying or exercising feel dull and uninteresting. The solution? A dopamine detox. There is a solution rooted in both science and Islamic principles: the concept of a dopamine detox. By reducing our exposure to high dopamine activities, we can reset our brain's dopamine levels, making productive tasks more appealing. A dopamine detox involves taking a break from high dopamine activities like using the internet, playing video games, or consuming junk food. Instead, focus on activities that provide more sustainable rewards such as prayer, reflection, reading the Quran, and spending time in nature. For one day, try to avoid all sources of external pleasure. Embrace boredom and use this time for introspection and setting goals. Reflect on the teachings of Islam and how they guide us to live a balanced life. Write down your thoughts and ideas on paper, not on a digital device. This period of minimal stimulation helps your brain recover and makes low dopamine activities more enjoyable. Implementing a regular dopamine detox. For a more sustainable approach, consider implementing a regular dopamine detox day once a week. Pick one high dopamine activity to avoid for that day. This practice will help you gradually reduce your brain's dopamine tolerance, making it easier to stay motivated for more meaningful tasks. Incorporating Islamic teachings into this practice, use your detox day to reconnect with Allah, perform extra prayers, read hadiths, and engage in dhikr. These spiritual activities not only provide a sense of peace, but also help in resetting your brain's reward system. Remember the words of Allah in the Quran. Indeed, in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find rest. Quran 13:28. The science behind dopamine detox. The science behind a dopamine detox lies in our body's natural state called homeostasis. Our bodies strive to maintain a stable internal environment. When we expose ourselves to high levels of dopamine, our brain tries to balance this by reducing dopamine receptors, leading to tolerance. By taking a break from high dopamine activities, we allow our brain to reset and return to a more balanced state. This concept of balance is also reflected in our physical responses. For example, when it's cold outside, our body temperature falls, and we start shivering to generate heat. When it's hot, we sweat to cool down. Similarly, our brain adjusts to maintain a balance in dopamine levels. Practical steps for a dopamine detox. Now, let's talk about practical steps for implementing a dopamine detox. Here's a guide to help you get started. 1. Choose a detox day. Select one day of the week to avoid all high dopamine activities. This includes using the internet, playing video games, watching TV, and consuming junk food. 2. Plan your activities. Replace high dopamine activities with low dopamine ones. Engage in prayer, read Islamic literature, go for a walk, or spend time in nature. 3. Embrace boredom. Understand that boredom is part of the detox process. Use this time to reflect on your life, set goals, and write down your thoughts. 4. Reconnect with faith. Use the detox day to deepen your connection with Allah. Perform additional prayers, read the Quran, and engage in dhikr. 5. Reflect and adjust. After your detox day, reflect on how you feel. Adjust the detox process as needed to fit your lifestyle and goals. Long-term strategies for balance. While a regular dopamine detox can be beneficial, it's also important to develop long-term strategies for maintaining balance. Here are some tips to help you stay motivated and productive. 1. Set clear goals. Define what you want to achieve in both your worldly and spiritual life. Write down your goals and break them into smaller, manageable tasks. 2. Create a routine. Establish a daily routine that includes time for prayer, study, exercise, and other productive activities. Consistency is key to developing new habits. 3. Reward yourself. Use high dopamine activities as rewards for completing important tasks. For example, after an hour of studying, reward yourself with 15 minutes of your favorite activity. 4. Limit high dopamine activities. Be mindful of how much time you spend on high dopamine activities. Set limits and stick to them to avoid developing a tolerance. 5. Seek support. Surround yourself with like-minded individuals who encourage and support your goals. Join study groups, attend Islamic lectures, and participate in community activities. The role of faith in motivation. Our faith plays a crucial role in maintaining motivation and balance in our lives. The teachings of Islam provide a comprehensive guide to living a fulfilling life. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "The strong believer is better and more beloved to Allah than the weak believer, while there is good in both." Sahih Muslim. This hadith encourages us to strive for strength in our faith and actions. By aligning our goals with Islamic principles, we can find greater motivation and purpose in our daily activities. Whether it's studying, working on a business, or engaging in acts of worship, our intentions should always be to seek the pleasure of Allah. In conclusion, it is possible to make difficult tasks feel more manageable by controlling your dopamine levels. By limiting high dopamine activities and incorporating regular dopamine detoxes, you can enhance your motivation for productive tasks. As Muslims, we have the added benefit of our faith guiding us towards balanced, fulfilling lives. Remember, the strong believer is better and more beloved to Allah than the weak believer, while there is good in both. Sahih Muslim. If you found this discussion beneficial, please support our channel by liking this video. It helps us reach more people and spread positive, productive messages. Jazakallah khair for watching, and may Allah guide us all to live balanced, fulfilling lives. By rethinking our approach to dopamine and motivation, we can better align our daily habits with our long-term goals, both worldly and spiritual. Let's strive together for a balanced life, seeking the pleasure of Allah in everything we do.